Marist faced elimination in Thursday's Tournament of Champions semifinal as Seton Hall Prep led by 3. But Roscoe Harris hit an improbable three-point bank shot to send it to overtime.
I don't know how he made it, it was like a nightmare to be in that situation, but it was a dream that he made it. Like, those are the only things you see in movies, like Hoosiers or something.
It was a wake-up call for the Knights, and John Giraldo scored 9 points in overtime as Marist advanced. But the Shawnee Renegades are rising up in the South. Joe Kessler's Group 4 champions beat undefeated Atlantic City and Bridgewater Raritan en route to the school's first state crown. Shawnee avenged its only loss of the year by beating backyard rival Burlington Township in Thursday's semifinal. Now it's North against South for the coveted Boys Tournament of Champions crown. Presents the 1992 NJSIAA Boys and Girls Tournament of Champions. The NJSIAA Tournament of Champions is brought to you in part by First Fidelity Bank, who believes an investment in our youth is an investment in our future. And by Jersey Central Power and Light Company, the Power Plus Company. Welcome you to the Brendan Byrne Meadowlands Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey for the Boys Tournament of Champions Final. The Shawnee Renegades, with a record of 31-1, take on the Marist Royal Knights with an identical record. And hi everyone, I'm Pat Scanlon. This is it. One game in the state of New Jersey to decide who's the best in boys high school basketball. And it promises to be a great one. Marist and Shawnee, 2 teams with just 1 loss through the entire season. My partner on the telecast is Rob Kennedy, the director of the Pocono and Eastern Invitational basketball camps. And Rob, let's begin with Marist. They beat St. Anthony with such an emotional win. They still had to win the Parochial B title. They did that. They beat Seton Hall Prep in the semifinal. Now, John Giraldo has to get his team ready to play one more time.
He's been the guy who's kept this team together throughout the year. He's the glue. He's the leader on the floor. He's really stepped his game up this year. He was rewarded by being named first team All-Metropolitan Conference by MSG this past weekend.
And John Giraldo will play for Wayne's Oak down at Monmouth College next year. On the front line, one of the outstanding players is Roscoe Harris. He's scored over 2,000 points in his career. He'll play for Rolly Massimino in Villanova next year.
He's their leading scorer at almost 20 points a game. He can score inside or outside the three. He's an excellent athlete. He'll give matchup problems for Shawnee today.
All right, so Mike Leonardo, that's his Marist club. For Shawnee, Joe Kessler and company, they look to Dan Earl, a junior guard who's a well-versed all-around player.
He's a very good player with the ball and also scoring. He handles it. You see he's their leading scorer at 19-5. He'll be counted on to do both today against Marist. Tough man-to-man pressure.
There are 2 Earls on the team, Brian, a freshman guard, and Dan, the junior. Their inside player, though, is Kirk Luckman. 6'9", 230 pounds. He's a load.
He's one of the most improved players in the whole state of New Jersey. He's had an excellent tournament. You see him there at almost 15 points per game. Good field goal percentage. He's had double-doubles in both their games here in the Tournament of Champions and also in the Group 4 final where he was the MVP.
All right, now let's take a look at Kennedy's keys, beginning with what Marist has to do to win today.
They have to initiate the offense. The other night against Seton Hall Prep, they were passive. They need to get out, create defensive pressure. I think you'll see them do a little bit more, some full court pressure and some running and jumping tonight.
All right, what about Shawnee's keys for success?
First of all, they have to minimize turnovers. Marist is going to put defensive pressure on them today like they've not seen. The Earls, the brothers Earl, Brian and Danny have to do a good job of that. And then the next thing they have to do is they need to get a third offensive contributor. As of late, it's been Brian Earl, but somebody besides Danny Earl and Luckman has to step up and give him offensive production.
All right, it will be Marist and Shawnee coming up for the boys' Tournament of Champions title. We'll have the opening lineups right after this.
Times to borrow, times to spend, times to save, and times to give. First Fidelity is a proud underwriter of New Jersey Network.
It's called chronic fatigue syndrome, and those who suffer from it are often debilitated by exhaustion, poor stamina, low-grade fever, sore throat, and a host of other symptoms. The medical world is still struggling to understand chronic fatigue syndrome, and on the next New Jersey Tonight, we'll talk to Dr. Isidore Brodsky of Hahnemann University Hospital and Joe Burke, a longtime sufferer and support group coordinator, at 7:30 on New Jersey Tonight, the show where you get to ask the questions.
Welcome back to the Byrne Meadowlands Arena for NJN Sports coverage of the 1992 Tournament of Champions Finals. This is the boys' game, Marist and Shawnee. I'm Pat Scanlon along with Rob Kennedy, and Jerry Henry will be along with insights throughout the game and a special halftime look at the game that was St. Anthony and Marist. But right now, let's join public address announcer Dom Alagia.
In today's second game for the Tournament of Champions boys title, it's the number 2 seed Renegades of Shawnee, 31-1. And the number 1 seed Royal Knights of Marist, also 31-1. Let's meet the starting lineups. At forward for Shawnee, number 14, Brian Bensel. At forward for Marist, number 23, Jason Anderson. The other forward for Shawnee, number 24, Corey Green. The other forward for Marist, number 34, Roscoe Harris. At center for Shawnee, number 32, Kirk Luckman. At center for Marist, number 32, Donnell Williams. At guard for Shawnee, number 5, Brian Earl. At guard for Marist, number 10, John Giraldo. The other guard for Shawnee, number 10, Dan Earl. And the other guard for Marist, number 12, Warren Anderson.
There's the starting lineups, and here's a look at Joe Kessler in his 5th season with a record of 95-43, a 1980 Glassboro State graduate. And he'll face Mike Leonardo, a 1983 St. Peter's grad with a record of 106-29 in his 5th season. Let's take a look at how the teams arrived at this championship game. For Marist, a win over St. Patrick, Roselle Catholic, then St. Anthony, 63-45, the defending Tournament of Champions title holder. And in the Parochial B final, Bishop Eustace, and then Seton Hall Prep in Thursday's semifinal for the Shawnee Renegades. Their battle began against Toms River East. They also defeated Eastern of Voorhees Atlantic City, 82-80. Then Atlantic City was undefeated, so was Bridgewater Raritan. They knocked them off in Irvington for the state title, and then Burlington Township in Thursday's semifinal TFC game. Ready to jump it up, Luckman and Donnell Williams, and Williams skies to win the tip. Joe Vigna, Bob Pugh, and Fabian Alessandro, a 3-man crew working our boys title game. Here's the steal. Dan Earl, number 10 against another 10. Giraldo lays it off, and it won't go for Corey Green. Giraldo pushes it. Roscoe Harris in and out. And Corey Green grabs the rebound.
Early pace favors Marist. They want to get up and down the court as much as possible. Shawnee would like to see more of a half-court game.
Luckman tips it in on the second try to break the seal on this one.
Kirk Luckman, as you referred to him, he is a big body inside, keeping the ball active with a nice tap in for the putback.
Giraldo walks it up, guarded by Dan Earl, and a foul goes on number 14, Brian Bensel, the 6'6" senior. Only senior amidst the starting five on the Shawnee team. And Joe Kessler says he's had a great state playoff, really stepped up his game, and is going out in style.
He's called upon a number of times to play the opposition's best player. Not only has he given them good defensive games, but he also stepped up, had double figures the other night in the win over Burlington. As you mentioned, he's really been playing well as of late.
John Giraldo, the 71% free throw shooter, misses the first of two. And the second hits the front of the rim and spins in for Mike Leonardo, and we get a 2-1 game, early moments.
This is something we did not see Thursday night at all. Marist picking up full court pressure, looking to try and turn up the intensity, get things started.
There's Brian Earl, the freshman, having problems in the corner. And Marist cannot force the turnover. Shawnee maintains possession. One thing about... No, wait, they'll go to the... They're going to call that a... they're going to go to the jump ball on that one, Ron?
Yeah.
The arrow possession?
Neither official had a clear shot, so they called it a jump ball. Shawnee retains the ball on the alternate possession.
Earl kicks out to his brother, Brian, who throws up an air ball. And the freshman, Brian Earl, 5'11", is going to hear it from the crowd.
He's got great poise, though, for a freshman. Thursday night, he had a big game. Game-high 16 points in the revenge win over Burlington Township.
Roscoe Harris off to Donnell Williams. From the elbow, no. Corey Green with the rebound. Danny Earl guarded by John Giraldo. Luckman shut off. Shawnee with some very good ball movement in their half-court set, Rob.
Do an excellent job. They move the ball extremely well. They have good outside shooters. They isolate Luckman on the post.
Giraldo for three. And it's 4-2 Marist. I think one of the things that Mike Leonardo thought he could do was turn Shawnee over. They turned the ball over quite a bit against Burlington Township in Thursday night's contest.
They also want to try and put a lot of pressure on Brian Earl, the freshman, see if he's up for the task.
There's the foul on Roscoe Harris as Corey Green got him up in the air. Joe, let's take another look at the feed inside.
Got up in the air, didn't really have anything to do. Nice play, dumped it inside. They're able to pick up the foul.
But it's not a shooting foul. Here's Corey Green, another chance. Off glass for two. Good move inside by Corey Green, and we're tied at 4.
Also an excellent pass by Dan Earl.
Brian Earl wearing 5, Dan Earl wearing number 10. Warren Anderson resets the offense. Williams from the elbow. Donnell Williams with his first basket, and it's 6-4.
At 6'7", he can step out and shoot the ball. He can even shoot the ball out to three-point range. Good sign early on for Mike Leonardo. Donnell Williams coming ready to play.
There's Dan Earl. Dishes to Luckman. Luckman lumbers in for 2.
One of the things, too, with the matchup with Donnell Williams, he's going to bring Luckman away from the basket. Luckman averaging just under 5 block shots a game. If they can get Williams out on the perimeter, it takes Luckman out of the lane, frees things up for Roscoe Harris and others in the paint.
Anderson loses the handle down low. That's Jason Anderson. And we've got a jump ball, the possession arrow favoring Marist. Substitution. Leopold Diock comes in, replacing Jason Anderson. Diock, 6-foot sophomore. Harris reverses to Giraldo for 3, short, and Luckman rebounds. Also in for Shawnee, Gary Foster wearing number 25. Dan Earl can't get it to go, and there's Leopold Diock with the rebound. Quickly, Harris fouled by Luckman. Excuse me, Williams fouled by Luckman.
Right there you see Danielle Williams at 6'7", only a junior, one of the top juniors not only in the state of New Jersey, but also one of the top juniors in the entire country. Here you see him in transition, puts the ball to the floor, going hard to the goal. Luckman gets him pretty good. Danielle Williams goes to line for 2.
Williams, a 68% free throw shooter. There's his numbers, averaging just under 18 points a game. And number 40, Pablo Carrasco, is in for Marist. And here's Rob Nadler wearing 22 for Shawnee. Both coaches going to the bench early with 3:41 left in the first quarter.
Something neither of them did on Thursday night. Both teams usually play 6 or 7 guys, but early on here, both teams going to the bench. Little 2-2-1 full court pressure by Marist on the made free throw.
This is what really turned it around for them against Seton Hall Prep in overtime. Two bomb barrels club a curve, and they weren't able to handle it. Adler, no. Giraldo to Harris, jams it home. Roscoe Harris.
Nice feed ahead by Giraldo. Once again, here's Marist in their full court pressure. They need to try and create action throughout the game.
Brian Earl gets it back to brother Dan. They lob down low. Good look inside, and Gary Foster cashes in the feed for 2.
What a look by Danny Earl. He has great presence on the floor. Sees everybody. Little look away pass. Great play by Danny Earl. Great matchup, too. He against Giraldo. 2 of the best point guards in the entire state.
Giraldo finds Roscoe Harris for a 3. Roscoe Harris demonstrating why he scored over 2,000 points in his career. Has 5 now, and it's Marist 12-8. Steal by Giraldo. He'll take it himself for the deuce.
That's what they're looking to try and get after pressure. They were passing Thursday night against Seton Hall Prep. Not tonight.
Kirk Luckman fields at center court. Dan Earl off the front of the rim, tracked down by Giraldo.
He's got to hit a few of those to keep Shawnee in the game early on.
Donnell Williams, short. And Luckman, who was guarding Williams out on the three-point arc, able to get the long rebound. For 3. No. Foster follows. Harris with the rebound. Mike Leonardis says, let's slow it down a little bit.
Spread the floor a little bit. Bring Donnell Williams up to the high post again, trying to bring Luckman away from the basket.
This is a good start for a Marist team that has had trouble matching the intensity level it had in defeating St. Anthony in the parochial B semifinal game. Didn't play quite as well against Bishop Eustis, though they won the title, and then were sluggish against Seton Hall Prep until Roscoe hit that 3 to send it to overtime, and then John Giraldo scored 9 of his 20 points in the extra 3 minutes.
Well, St. Anthony's game was such an emotional game, such a big game. It was a matchup that was really building from last summer. That's a game both teams were pointing to. They knew that they were going to meet each other somewhere in the state tournament.
Dan Earl went for the tip. Harris feeds Giraldo for 3. Rebounded by Pablo Carrasco. And Marist will reset. as Giraldo glances over his shoulder to see what Mike Leonardo wanted from the offensive set.
They're going to go ahead and try and hold the ball for a last shot here in the first quarter.
20 seconds and counting. Time to get moving with 10 seconds left. Giraldo inside, tried to hook up with Williams. Out of bounds, Shawnee with 2.9 seconds left.
Adam open in a post, puts the ball to the floor, little bounce pass. He scores. Instead, too high, out of bounds.
Luckman, no good. Well, we've played 8 minutes here at the Boys Tournament of Champions final game. With the score, Marist 14, Shawnee 8. We'll be right back with the second quarter.
At Jersey Central, we care about our communities.
When the woman from JCP&L noticed my newspapers piling up, she was concerned and notified that
their program gave us a chance to get back on our feet again.
We care through our many programs and services.
The JCP&L truck happened to be right there. Spotted the fella breaking into my shop, called the police.
They taught us all about saving energy.
Because when people care, powerful things happen.
Were these two revolutionaries dangerously un-American? And how could they leave their small son in Russia for 20 years? Watch the story of a family torn apart. Love in the Cold War, next time on The American Experience.
You'll want to tune in tomorrow night at 10 here on NJN, the New Jersey channel.
Artificial intelligence and robotics, simulated space missions, computer-generated field trips. The Little Red Schoolhouse ain't what it used to be.
Not only are these new technologies available, which someday they'll have in their classrooms, but that these techniques of cooperative learning and problem solving are here now.
Join Jim Hartz when innovation goes back to school for the new ABCs. Part 3 of The Future Is Now.
Discover it all with NJN Tuesday at 9.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. For more than 20 years, their harmonies have thrilled a generation of fans. It's time to experience the classic hits of Crosby, Stills, and Nash in a very special acoustic concert.
Tune in Tuesday, March 31st at 9:55.
Shawnee wants to take care of the ball, and Marist is looking for the transition game, Rob.
Right here we see John Giraldo come up with the rebound, doesn't put it to the floor, looks ahead, and here's Roscoe Harris finishing the play off with a nice dunk.
Harris with 5 points. Here's the steal coming up by John Giraldo.
John Giraldo ignites this team in so many ways, steals the ball, gets out in transition, and finishes the play off himself.
They've been the story as Marist leads 14-8 as we begin the second quarter of the Boys Tournament of Champions title game. I'm Pat Scanlon along with Rob Kennedy. Jerry Henry coming up at the half with a look at that St. Anthony Marist game. There's the turnover as Brian Earl lost the handle. Giraldo to Donnell Williams, and they'll pull it back out.
Marist looks extremely sharp here in the early going. Quick of foot, getting out, pressuring on defense, and executing on offense.
Harris looking very sharp, drills the three-point basket.
That's that matchup problem that we talked about in the open. He can shoot the ball out to three-point range, and he can score inside.
Shawnee has not been able to get into their half-court set. Brian Benchel with the turnaround in the lane. 17-10. Marist ranked number 3 in the country in the USA Today ratings. Their only loss this season to Christ the King in a tournament. You don't agree?
No. Not a walk on that play. John Giraldo gave a ball fake. Not only faked the defender out, he also faked the official out. He got a walk call.
Shawnee comes back off the turnover. Luckman has it taken away by Williams.
Not there. A little bit of a force by Danny Earl. Good matchup in the post. Donnell Williams using his quickness to defend against Luckman.
Hard to say, Marist only lost of the year coming to Christ the King in the Ocala, Florida high school tournament. Christ the King, one of the best teams in the nation. In that tournament, they had beaten Pleasure Ridge, one of the top teams in Kentucky, and Fletcher, who was #1 in Florida. Brian Earl has it. Bounce out. Wouldn't go down.
Marist has been in the top 20 poll the entire year, but the big win over St. Anthony's vaulted him from #10 all the way up to #3.
Here's Williams, ball fake, stop, pops, and hits. Donnell Williams with 5 points, extending Marist's lead to 9.
Big guy, so smooth, puts the ball to the floor. He can do so much more than just post up.
Luckman misses the jam, and he's fouled by Roscoe Harris. Kirk Luckman did a great job setting up and sent Donnell Williams flying before the shot.
Let's see him posting up here if we can see. He got away with a little bit of a push-off, but does a good job establishing and going hard to the goal.
Kirk Luckman averaging 15 points a game, just under 10 rebounds and about 5 blocks per contest. Makes the first of 2.
He's come such a long way this past year. The coach Joe Kessler and Shawnee. Big things are going to be expected of him next year, only a junior.
Luckman with 5 points now, Marist by 8. Pablo Carrasco. The Earls trap him. Mike Leonardo calls for the motion attack. Leopold Diaz getting some minutes.
Good call.
Traveling, Donnell Williams that time.
Changed his pivot foot. Official right on top of it. But again, you see Williams coming out into the high post. We'll see that throughout the night, trying to draw Kirk Luckman away from the basket.
Now let's see if Shawnee can get into their offense. Dan Earl, guarded by John Giraldo. This is to Corey Green. Corey Green is fouled. And it goes on Leopold Diaz, his first, the team's second.
Both teams with aggressive, intense defensive pressure on both ends of the floor. Getting right up in people's faces and tough nose-to-nose, man-to-man defense.
Marist calls timeout. So Mike Leonardo with a 19-11 lead. He wanted to walk on Corey Green before the play, before the foul.
A lot of times as a coach, though, you don't get what you want from the officials. Those conversations, a lot of times, don't produce much happiness.
A one-way highway. I know you talk about Mike Leonardo. Interesting that he returned to Marist High School to be their head coach. He was an assistant at St. Anthony's for 4 years.
He's done an excellent job of turning their program around. He has 3 super players in their program, Giraldo, Williams, and Harris, and also a number of younger players who you haven't heard much about so far, but next year they look for them to step up, and they've really established themselves as one of the best programs in the state of New Jersey.
Well, we're about to hear from Jerry Henry. Jerry?
Well, Pat, coming into this game, I talked to Coach Mike Leonardo of Marist earlier, and he said that he feels this team has the big game experience, and it may give them an edge in this, but it seems that it's working so far. Back to you.
Certainly true. They've come out and played with intensity early. Corey Green unable to get it to go down. Here's the shot by Bensel. It's an air ball, and Corey Green goes flying over photographer's row on the baseline. John Giraldo, who had a triple-double in the parochial B title game against Bishop Eustace. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. 2-point basket. Out of bounds, Shawnee ball.
Geraldo missing on that attempt. He's an excellent outside shooter, can also put the ball to the floor and create his own shot. Both point guards, Danny Earl and Geraldo, are as good as anybody in the state putting the ball on the floor and pulling up for the jumper.
Leopold Diop picked up the foul. Conclusion of that play. Dan Earl for three.
That's exactly what Shawnee needs. He needs to knock down a couple big baskets, brings the Shawnee contingent to their feet.
He's hit 66 three-point field goals coming into this Tournament of Champions final. All-time leading scorer and assist leader at the school. And here's Pablo Carrasco, who's a very good three-point shooter, answering at the other end.
Scrimmage earlier in the year, he knocked down 5 threes in a quarter, so he's a threat from out at the three-point range.
Geraldo pays close attention to Dan Earl, who pumps to Green, Bensel.
Excellent ball movement again by Shawnee. They pass the ball so well. They're big guys, the guards. Everybody gives up the ball. Gets an easy shot there for Earl in the lane.
Geraldo wants motion. Man-to-man defense for Shawnee. Roscoe Harris kicks out. Donnell Williams off the front of the rim. One and done for Marist. And you've got Donnell Williams in the high post. Tough to hit the offensive glass.
Long way from the bucket.
Benzel knocks down a three. Brian Benzel with 5 points.
After a quick start, Marist has slowed down a little bit, has not been able to get into their pressure defense because they haven't been able to score at this end of the floor.
Shawnee pulls within 3 with 2:40 left in the second quarter. Well played. Minutes of basketball so far for both teams.
Since the St. Anthony's game, Marist has started quickly each of the last 2 games and then has faded a little bit. Seem to be doing the same thing here tonight.
Interesting, Mike Leonardo called a timeout about 2 minutes ago to settle his team down. Since that time, Shawnee has enjoyed the advantage, and there's Corey Green, who started before he was really ready to.
Mike Leonardo talking there on the sideline to Leopold Biwa, only a sophomore. One of those players we talked about who has to step up next year with the graduation of Geraldo, Harris, and Anderson.
Jason Anderson not on the floor. Williams. 2-point basket for Donnell Williams. He has 8. That extends Marist lead to 5. Under 2 minutes, second quarter. Earl. Dan, that is, travels.
On the other end, you can see why college recruiters have been flocking to Marist. At that size, Donnell Williams at 6'7". They list him at 6'7". I bet you he's 6'8". Stepping out to 19-9, being able to knock down shots. That'll bring a lot of college coaches looking your way.
Said to be one of the top 30 juniors in the nation, Donnell Williams. Williams saves the backcourt violation, showing his athleticism.
Bit of a delay game. Marist taking some time off the clock. What they want to do, though, is bring Shawnee out, make them guard him, try and take advantage of their quickness.
You know, Marist is playing without Randy Encarnacion, who broke a bone in his left hand in practice on Wednesday. He usually logs about 24 minutes a game.
Very steady player.
Here's the steal. Oof. Dan Earl, but it's blocked from behind by Williams. Geraldo trying to answer at the other end and is fouled on his way to the hoop.
No better way than to start your fast break by blocking a shot and getting out in transition. Geraldo doing a good job again of attacking the glass, trying to create things, picks up the foul.
Joe Kessler arguing for a goaltending call on the block by Williams as Dan Earl broke away. Substitution now. Eli Camacho, number 24, replaces Roscoe Harris with 43 seconds left in the first half. Rob Nadler back into the game for Shawnee. Harris sits down with 8 points. And just one personal foul as Giraldo at the line. Makes the first of 2. Now Jason Anderson, number 23, back in the ball game. Giraldo makes both free throws. He has 8 points. And here's the other Anderson, Warren, replacing Giraldo. 43.8 seconds left. Second quarter, boys tournament of champions.
With a 1-3-1 half-court trap here. Marist going to make Shawnee take some time off the clock. Not allow him to get an easy shot.
Bensel back for Brian Earl. Swing Nadler, Dan Earl drives baseline off the Luckman, who lost a handle but was fouled as he went to the basket. And that foul will go on, I believe it was Eli Camacho.
Again,
Donnell Williams, excuse me.
I'm sorry. Again, Danny Earl creating, though. He puts the ball to the floor so well, draws the defender, kicks it off. The big Kirk Luckman is not able to finish the play off, but he gets fouled. He'll go to the line, try and knock down 2 fouls.
Mike Leonardo goes offense, defense. He puts Harris and Giraldo back into the game with 21.8 left on the clock. Now 1 of 3 from the free throw line today with 5 points. Leonardo and the Royal Knights of Marist leading 26-19. Luckman now 2 for 2. And then within 6. And Giraldo handles the pressure. Donnell Williams. Anderson has it blocked by Luckman. There's one of his 5. As Jason Anderson got a little greedy.
Still plenty of time on the shot clock.
There's your time. Left corner of the screen. Giraldo has to go in and out. Dan Earl just kicks it toward the basket. And that's the end of the second quarter. It's been a fast-paced first half. And it's Marist leading Shawnee 26-20 in the boys Tournament of Champions final. Jerry Henry coming up at the half.
A comprehensive facility serving the children of Newark and New Jersey for over a century.
New Jersey is filled with the wide variety of sports personalities. Each week on the Sports Exchange, we'll give you, the fans, a chance to call in and go one-on-one with our special guests. It's a chance to meet those who are making news in the world of New Jersey sports. The Sports Exchange, a half-hour show dedicated to Garden State sports. Join Pat Scanlon Tuesday night at 8, only on NJN.
We're back at the Meadowlands Arena. Hope you're enjoying NJN's coverage of the Tournament of Champions. St. Peter's winning the girls' game. And right now, at halftime, Marist leading the boys' final 26-20. Unusual at the Meadowlands, a Tournament of Champions final, and the St. Anthony Friars aren't on the floor for the first time in the history of the tournament. They won it in the first year in '89. They were runner-ups to Elizabeth and Luther Wright in '90, and they won last year's Tournament of Champions final against Seton Hall Prep. Where's the Friars? Well, they're out of it. Marist beat them in a great game, and Jerry Henry takes a look back.
For nearly a decade, St. Anthony has been a perennial power in New Jersey basketball. This season, the Friars seem poised to collect their 10th straight parochial B title. That's until March 11th, when their Hudson County neighbors Marist pull off the upset of the year with the stunning 63-45 victory that ended a remarkable reign in New Jersey basketball.
When I'm 60 years old, I'll probably pull the tape out, and I'll start to watch again. My wife will go, "Oh, no, not again." You know, that's what that means to me. We just beat the #2 team in the country. 5 years ago, when I took over the program, we had won 7 games my first year in the county league in our section. So in a 4-mile radius, we were the 5th worst team in the league, and now 5 years later, we just beat #2 in the country. There are cycles in basketball. This was our 20th straight appearance in the North Jersey Championship game. We've been in the Tournament of Champions game 3 straight years, and some very fine players have been in and out of our, school in those years, and one just went out the door. Now we just lose Roderick Rhodes.
Rhodes, a 6'7" All-America forward, will join the ranks of St. Anthony alumnus that include David Rivers, Bobby and Danny Hurley, and Jerry Walker, to name a few. Rhodes heads to Kentucky.
I'm going to miss Coach Hurley, Sister Allen, staff at St. Anthony's, and it was something I'm always remember, and it was the best 4 years of my life.
This marks the first year St. Anthony won't be at the Tournament of Champions since its inception 4 years ago. So is this a changing of the guard in New Jersey basketball, or just a momentary setback for the Friars?
In high school coaching, you just take whoever you have. We'll see what we can do next year. We'll be a good defensive team, I can assure you, next year, and we'll see if we can climb back into that.
Well, Bob Hurley got a chance to see the ACC tournament unexpectedly. He also will be in Philadelphia, no doubt, as Bobby Hurley Jr. and the Duke Blue Devils take on Danny Hurley and his Seton Hall Pirates. Right now, let's join Jerry Henry with a special guest at center court. Jerry?
Okay, thanks, Pat. I'm here with Jerry Greco of First Fidelity Bank, and, of course, First Fidelity is a major sponsor of the Tournament of Champions. Jerry, first of all, you guys have been with the Tournament of Champions for 4 years now. Could you talk about that relationship?
Yes, we've been a major sponsor of this event for 4 years, and we're very proud of it. At First Fidelity, we think it's important, Jerry, to invest in our community. And this event gives our premier basketball players from throughout the state the opportunity to play in the finest facility, we think, in the country. So we're proud about that. And Bob Canopy and his fine staff conduct a very, very superior tournament. So for First Fidelity to be associated with NJSIAA, we think it's a good investment.
And, of course, you have the co-sponsorship with the Nets and the Athlete of the Week awards as well.
That's correct. And each month the athlete is selected by a team of sports writers competing for the Athlete of the Year in the male and female categories, and their schools are awarded a $1,000 scholarship at the end in their name. So we're pleased about that as well.
As well as the All-Star football game. You guys are busy.
Absolutely. June 29th, the North-South All-Star football game, and it's the First Fidelity North-South All-Star football game. Will be played right here at Giant Stadium in conjunction with the New Jersey Fair. That gives our premier high school football players an opportunity to show their talents and a chance of a lifetime to participate at Giant Stadium.
Jerry, where do you see a tournament like this going? Of course, you guys have been very involved, as you've said. What do you see? We've got great competition here today. How far do you see this thing going?
Well, our dream is to be playing here before a packed house, and I think that that's possible. The staff at the Sports Authority has given us a lot of cooperation. We've got over 8,000 people here this afternoon, and I think from that point to a packed house is not that far away. I think it's the cooperation between both staffs will make this a winner for the young people in our state.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Jerry. Nice to be with you.
Okay, we'll be back with second half action. We've got a good one going between Shawnee and Marist, the boys' finals of the Tournament of Champions. We'll be back in a moment.
times to spend, times to save, and times to give. First Fidelity is a proud underwriter of New Jersey Network.
How much will the state's minority community gain or lose with the Republican stronghold in the legislature? According to one report, hard times are ahead for African Americans and Latinos living in New Jersey. Hi, I'm Belinda Morton, host of Another View. Join me Tuesday. We'll talk about what's at stake and how the new GOP leadership plans to address the problems facing the state's inner city.
It's worth watching Tuesday night at 6 on NJN, the New Jersey channel.
Anne of Green Gables, balancing between the realities of everyday life and her vivid sense of imagination.
The Lady of Shalott.
An orphan, taken in by an elderly brother and sister who expect a boy.
It's a girl. I can see that.
We watch Anne grow from an awkward youngster with a fiery temper
How dare you!
into a mature young woman. Filmed on location at Prince Edward Island and at historic sites in Canada, Anne of Green Gables stars Megan Follows as Anne, Colleen Dewhurst as Marilla, and Richard Farnsworth as Matthew. The Emmy Award-winning Anne of Green Gables.
Be sure to join us for this heartwarming encore presentation Saturday.
We're at the Meadowlands Sports Complex, the Brendan Byrne Arena, at halftime. And Marist leading Shawnee 26-20 in this, the game, 16 minutes to play. Take a look at the highlights from the first half, and one of them belongs to Roscoe Harris, who has 8 points this half.
Long rebound, Geraldo ahead to Harris. We see here his versatility, not only going hard to the goal, he also knocked down 2 threes in the first half.
Donnell Williams inside has 7 points.
Puts it down to the floor. His athletic ability up over everybody, knocks down the short J in the lane.
And so, as you would expect, the Marist Royal Knights enjoying a better shooting percentage at 45% to 38% for Shawnee. Got to the line a little bit more and hitting the boards hard, and that's interesting because Shawnee really wanted to do a good job rebounding, Rob.
One of the keys for Marist at the top of the show was to make sure that they attack the glass. They've done that. They've also initiated the action, except for about a 3-minute lull there at the beginning of the second quarter.
For Shawnee, Kirk Luckman showing the way with 6. Dan Earl, who had a 3-point basket and a 2 in the second quarter, right behind him. For Marist, Roscoe Harris with 8, Geraldo with 8 in his point guard spot. Williams with 7, and Pablo Carrasco off the bench to chip in with 3. All right, Rob, how do we begin if you're, first of all, Joe Kessler and Shawnee down 6?
Well, first of all, you got to be happy that you fought your way back into the game. Got it close again. After the initial first couple minutes, it looked like Marist might run away with the game. They need to continue to get the game into a half-court situation. Luckman's done a good job of posting up inside. They have to get him the ball. They have to get Danny Earl on track.
Leopold Dion, number 31, will get the second half start, along with Pablo Carrasco, Geraldo, Harris, and Williams. So Mike Leonardo changes up from his starting lineup. Shawnee counters with Dan and Brian Earl, Kirk Luckman, Corey Green, and Brian Benzel. Geraldo, guarded by Dan Earl. And Dan Earl whistled for the reach-in foul. That's his second.
Geraldo's so quick with that first dribble, though. Gets in, creates so much. Got up off the floor, didn't really have anything to do. Found somebody out in the corner, but fouled on the pass.
Geraldo triggers, stolen by Brian Benzel. They were looking for Roscoe Harris in the corner.
Good job of scouting and good anticipation.
Brian Earl over to brother Dan. The 5-and-dime offense for Shawnee, the brothers Earl.
Earl taking advantage of his height on that play, going up against Geraldo. Geraldo giving up a good 3 to 4 inches. Danny Earl getting the ball into the paint, using his size.
Joe Kessler says stats don't tell the story with Dan Earl. He's such a all-around ball player, but one stat stands out in his season. 41 points against Atlantic City, school record.
An 82-80 victory over an undefeated Atlantic City team. A heck of a performance, probably the best individual performance in the entire state tournament.
Marist cashing in 7 points off turnovers to just 2 points for Shawnee. But they get it back, and it's a 4-point game. Williams and Luckman reaching, and it goes on Donnell Williams. That's 2 on Donnell.
A lot of those 7 points, though, off turnovers came in the first few minutes of the games. They really haven't created a whole lot off of their full court pressure. They haven't been able to get into it because they haven't scored on the offensive end.
Dan Earl has the notion now with his foul line. Looked inside for Luckman, got up in the air, had to make a decision, threw it away. Here's Brian Earl, though, hustling. Broke up the layup by Roscoe Harris, but it will be Marist ball. Honorable mention, all Group 4, Brian Earl had 19 points in the South Jersey final. Inside, Williams counted if it goes, it doesn't. And the foul goes on Brian Bensel, number 14.
Mentioned Brian Earl, 19 points in the South Jersey final, 16 the other night. He's really been coming on. Only a freshman. It's amazing the type of poise that he has. Coach was saying the other night that he was directing guys towards the end of the game. Not some of the older guys on the team, but a freshman.
Tell me a little bit about Donnell's free throw style, where he holds the ball out to the hoop with the right hand at the beginning of each shot. What's this?
Trying to do is make sure that he's lined up to the basket. Players sometimes, once they get a routine, you can't break them of it. It's not quite as unique as, say, like Harold Miner's 9-second routine, but a little bit different.
Williams missed them both. It's 26-22. Luckman off glass, tips it up and in on the second chance. Kirk Luckman.
Luckman's so efficient. He doesn't look spectacular, but he gets good position, keeps the ball high all the time, and he's just knocks down baskets. Very efficient player.
Shawnee pulls within 2. Giraldo for 3. Won't go, and Luckman there. Shawnee with a chance to tie or take the lead. Look at the battle inside with Luckman trying to establish position. Harris comes away with the rebound. Still Harris. That is number and entire uniform retired at Marist. Won't go. Leopold Diaz up, no good. One more time, Giraldo gets swatted away by Luckman. No basket. The foul before the shot by Roscoe Harris.
See Luck. Let's see a replay of this. Giraldo underneath. Luckman swats it away. Luckman averages nearly 5 blocks a game. Certainly a presence on the defensive end in the paint.
Corey Green picked up the foul, and it's still a 2-point game as Marist. Still looking for its first basket of the second half. 4:55 left in the third quarter. Harris can't get it. Saved by Giraldo, but Corey Green able to pick it off. Brian Earl picks up the dribble, gets it to brother Dan. Three-pointer by Corey Green won't go. Luckman cleans the glass, and we're tied at 26.
Establishes position, gets the rebound, keeps it high, puts it back for a second chance bucket.
Points for Kirk Luckman. As we take a look, Mike Leonardo called timeout. He'd seen enough.
Missed shot from the outside. Luckman, though, fighting for inside position, goes up, rebounds the ball, right back up off the glass. Marist has been out of sync, especially after the first 5-6 minutes of the first quarter. They haven't been able to get anything going in their half-court offense. They need to come out with the set play here, try and get the ball in the hands of either Giraldo trying to penetrate or running Roscoe Harris off a screen for a jump shot.
Shawnee on a 6-0 run to open the second half. Kirk Luckman with 10 points. Mike Leonardo looking for an answer. What was impressive, too, about Luckman, had the great position, went up, got the rebound, then has the soft touch on the follow, doesn't bang it off the glass.
He's very good around the basket. As we said earlier, he's very efficient. He doesn't do things spectacular. He just gets position, gets the ball, and goes up and scores.
Harris guarded by Benson. Williams, Luckman gives him room, short.
Not what Marist wanted off that possession.
So now Williams can't hit the three-point shot. So can this man, Danny Earl. 10 points now for Dan Earl. Shawnee leading 29-26.
He can continue to knock down three-point shots. It also stretches the defense out. Opens the inside game for Kurt Luckman.
Marist needs some patience on offense. Still scoreless here in the second half. Williams in and out. There's Brian Earl to grab the rebound. Bensel. He's fouled. He got Roscoe Harris up in the air and got by him. And Brian Bensel will go to the line.
Nice move by Bensel, but even more importantly has been Bensel's contribution on the defensive end. He's basically kept Roscoe Harris intact. Here we see him on the offensive end, though, with the nice pump fake, gets Harris in the air, drives to the goal, gets fouled.
Pablo Carrasco got him from behind, and Bensel takes the first of two. A 10-0 run for the Shawnee Renegades, representing the Burlington County Liberty Conference. Bensel makes them both. He has 7. And Shawnee up by 5, 31-26. There's Warren Anderson replacing Pablo Carrasco.
Marist has not scored yet here in the second half. And into the half up 26-20, have not been able to score a field goal or a foul shot to this point.
Very similar to the pattern they had as Giraldo breaks the streak, and he has 10 points now. Very similar to what they struggled with against Seton Hall Prep, where the third quarter and early fourth quarter, they played almost a sleepwalk.
And it's been something that's upset Mike Leonardo. Hasn't been able to figure out why they've come out ready to play, but then have faded.
But they turn it on quickly. First Giraldo, now Donnell Williams. And they're back within one, 31-30. Earl for three. Danny Earl strokes it. He's got 14.
He starts lighting it up now here in the second half. That's going to give big problems to Marist defense.
Danny Earl being recruited by Rutgers, St. Joe's, Wake Forest, and Providence College among the many callers. Roscoe Harris has it stolen by Dan Earl, and he's fouled by John Giraldo. Shawnee crowd very much on hand here at the Meadowlands.
The other night up at Rutgers for the semi-final game, they had at least 4,000 fans from their town alone. The whole town was there, it looked like. Big bragging rights game against Burlington Township, their neighbors, playing in the same conference, playing in the same county.
Burlington Township, who had beaten Shawnee on a buzzer beater, their only loss of the season.
Controversial three-point shot at the buzzer.
Billy Green kicks it back out. Look who's open. Dan Earl. No. Rebounded by Green. And Shawnee resets. 1:25 left third quarter. Shawnee leading by 4. Dan kicks to Bryan. He'll shoot it. Won't go. There's Green creating havoc on the boards. Lost it out of bounds, but Corey Green at 5'11" is in there mixing it up with Williams and Harris.
Keeping the ball alive, doing an excellent job, hustling and trying to do whatever he can to help his team.
1 minute left. Third quarter. Marist down by 4. Giraldo. This matters into his own hands. Count it. And a foul on Dan Earl, his third.
It's always a nice option when things start going not your way on the offensive end, when you can have a guy like John Giraldo create his own shot, as we see him driving to the goal, knocks down the deuce, and get a foul shot to boot.
12 points today for John Giraldo, the senior. He makes the three-point play, pulling Marist within 1 at 34-30. Green to Luckman. Off the bench, so he'll wait for help. Dan Earl, blocking foul on Giraldo. And that's just John Giraldo's first.
Nice play there. In transition, Shawnee finding Danny Earl. Marist got to be careful they don't lose sight of him. He can spot up at 3 in transition. Excellent outside shooter. Been on a roll a little bit here in the second half.
Let me correct that. That's 2 on John Giraldo. 4th on the team. Both teams with 4 team fouls. There's the turnover as Corey Green stepped over the end line. Now Marist with 39 seconds left in the third quarter. Mike Leonardo wants 1 shot. Giraldo works off a screen by Anderson. Harris pulls up. High shot, no good. Bosco on the rebound. No, Williams, no, and Luckman with 14 counting. They better pick Dan Earl up from half court. Inside, Luckman, no basket. I believe he traveled. Yes, says Fabian Alessandro. Traveling the call. 5.3 seconds left.
Good call, and Marist still has plenty of time to get off a good shot.
Giraldo launches. Traveled as he let it go, and we've got 0.6 seconds left. This were 0.8 seconds left. We recall the Southern Cal game yesterday, or Georgia Tech getting a three-pointer to win it.
Basically, with 0.6, all you can get is a tap.
Luckman tried to tap it, no good. We played 3 quarters here at the boys' Tournament of Champions final. And we've got a good one heading to the 4th. Shawnee leading Marist 34-33. We'll be right back.
With a newly constructed Good Sense home, you get more than energy efficiency. You get savings and quality built right into your windows, floors, water heating, air conditioning, and into all the qualities of an energy-efficient Good Sense home. At JCP&L, we know it takes more than hammers and nails to achieve comfort and savings. It takes Good Sense. Look for the Good Sense sign on your next new home. JCP&L, the Power Plus company.
On land, they're not a very pretty sight. But in the water, they're Mother Nature's diving machines, plummeting to depths of 4,000 feet or more. Elephant seals. Meet them next time on Nature.
Here on NJN, the New Jersey Channel, tomorrow at 8.
Here at the Columbus Zoo, a handful of innovative keepers have taken things a step further. Based on the simple notion that gorillas should be allowed to be gorillas, they have found new ways to enhance the gorilla's life, to the point where the bars and nets of captivity seem to disappear.
Baby Gorillas, a gorilla family portrait, Friday at 8.
Join NJN every night for the live New Jersey State Lottery drawing. Ella Young is your host who picks your lucky numbers. Play Pick 3, Pick 4, or the giant jackpot game Pick 6 Lotto with a top prize that can be worth millions of dollars. There's also the bonus million game, or try your hand at the instant winner game. Be one of the lucky ones. Get your tickets out and watch for the live New Jersey State Lottery drawing every night at 7:56 only here on NJN.
This spring, television's best. Is on NJN.
Okay, the big thing in the last timeout for Shawnee was to get the ball down low to Luckman. Joe Kessler says he doesn't think Marist can stop him. And at 6'9", he's probably right. Back to you, Pat.
Okay, Jerry. Very good. Good crowd on hand here at the Meadowlands for this final game in New Jersey High School basketball. We've been with you all season, bringing you the best the Garden State has to offer. College basketball at Division I or Division III. And Rob, what does Marist do to stem the tide here?
I think they've got to get back to what they were doing earlier in the game, trying to put some more defensive pressure. One of the problems is they went through a scoring drought, weren't able to set up in any type of full court pressure. I think to get the tempo back and to put some more pressure on them, they need to get back to that 2-2-1 full court pressure.
Brian Earl handling against Anderson. And the Donnell Williams creates the turnover as he flipped the ball away.
As Jerry pointed out when we came back from the break, Shawnee looks to get the ball right inside to Luckman. They're going to put some pressure on Donnell Williams. He's got to step up and do a better job, not allow Big Kirk Luckman to get the ball on the post. Marist 3 for 13 shooting there in the third quarter. A dismal 23%. They've got to pick that up. They're going to come away with the win here.
Those 3 field goals came late in the third quarter. Giraldo drives in, count it, and he's fouled by Brian Bensel.
Tough shot. Don Giraldo, tough kid, hanging with the play. Let's take a look at that. Drives past Big Kirk Luckman, gets hit once, and then he gets hit twice, and it drops through.
And somewhere down the shore, your old boss, Wayne Zook, is smiling and watching the man who will run the show for the Monmouth Hawks next year.
One of Wayne's favorite lines is better players make better coaches. John Giraldo is going to make Wayne Zook a better coach.
As long as Wayne keeps the lights on down there at Monmouth, we were down there for a power failure earlier in the season. It's offside. Good ball movement. Brian Earl to Brian Bensel. Bensel with 9 points.
Ball never hit the floor. Passing the ball up, 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 bang. Nice little open shot.
Tied at 36. Roscoe Harris, 3-point basket. Marist up by 3.
And he's got to start stepping up a little bit on the offensive end. That's the first time we've heard his name called in a while.
Roscoe Harris with 11 points. Luckman tries to answer at the other end. Pulled down by Donnell Williams. Harris in transition. Anderson swings to Harris. This time the three-pointer won't go.
Good ball movement, though. That's the shot they want. Roscoe Harris, an open 3 in the corner. He'll knock that down at least 50% of the time.
Both Jason and Warren Anderson starting the fourth quarter for Mike Leonardo. Brian Earl, a little flat on the shot. He dishes to Bensel, who's open. Bensel tips it up and gets it the second time.
Stays with the shot. Good job. Follows his own miss. Puts it back in for the score.
Harris still with a 1-point lead. Now, Rob, we talked about Shawnee needed another player to step up. So far, you'd have to say that's Brian Bensel, aside from Earl and Luckman.
A little bit of a zone defense here from Shawnee.
Rob Nadler grabs the rebound. One and done for Marist, but they lead by 1 with 5:45 left. Dan Earl behind the back to the hoop for 2.
What a move by Danny Earl. All of a sudden now, Shawnee's back in the lead. Marist, after a little bit of a spurt, has cooled off.
15 points for Dan Earl.
Shawnee in the zone defense. Marist needs to be patient, get some good ball movement. They have two excellent three-point shooters on the floor in Geraldo and Harris. They also have the force to be reckoned with inside with Donnell Williams.
Warren Anderson as they work it over to Roscoe Harris. Three-point shot by Geraldo. No, and there's Dan Earl on the rebound. Each team coming at each other. Brian Earl on the drive. What a basket by Earl. He hung. Got to two. Shawnee by 3 on Brian Earl's first basket of the contest.
And what a big basket it is, putting them up 3. Here with just over 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
Jason Anderson stepped over the line. Turnover. And now back in the ball game comes Pablo Carasso.
The late change of defense has created some problems for Marist. They've had some confusion, some uncertainty. Broke up their little run there. They're not playing with the type of confidence you would expect from a number 3 ranked team in the country.
Eli Camacho is also in for Marist as the Andersons go out. Shawnee, 28 points in the paint to 18 for Marist. Dan Earl, no. Kirk Luckman looking to make it another 2 in the paint and can't do it. 4 minutes left. Geraldo thought that Harris was going to continue down the left wing, and Harris pulled up.
Costly turnover.
Earl had a notion. He and Luckman played inside-outside game. Offensive foul.
Danny Earl got caught leaving his feet. Wasn't really in a position to shoot the ball. Kicks it out to the corner, but he picks up his 3rd foul.
It's Dan Earl's 4th. So 4 on Dan Earl. With 3:43 left in the fourth quarter, Dan Earl has to be very careful.
They call that foul after the pass, a charging foul, so it'll be a one-on-one situation as opposed to a player control offensive foul, which is a non-shooting foul.
Dan Earl with 15 points. Here's Leopold Dia back in the ball game.
Look for Marist to get into a little bit of full court pressure here if they can knock down the foul shots. What got them started early on. Let's see if they go back to it.
Short. As Roscoe Harris can't cash it in for Leonardo.
That's been the problem all game. They haven't been able to really get into their pressure. They haven't been able to score.
Earl handles against the full court pressure of Marist. Now they break it and call timeout. Joe Kessler up by 3. Wants to set the offense.
Shawnee has really responded here. Took it on the chin a little bit first couple minutes of the fourth quarter. Hanging tough. Now they've got themselves in a position with a little over 3 minutes left to go with a 3-point lead.
Well, you know, Shawnee, what a great team from South Jersey. They are the first team other than Camden and Woodrow Wilson to ever win the Group 4 title in New Jersey since the tournament began in 1919.
That's a long time. And this team only has a couple of seniors, really only one senior, Bensel, in their top 7 with Danny Earl, Kirk Luckman, and Brian Earl back. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with for next year, and with Brian Earl for a few years since he's only a freshman.
Nice to have a junior freshman act, the Earl brothers. Here's a look at Dan Earl driving to the basket.
Nice body control, avoids the defender, yet still has the ability to kiss it off the glass. Nice shot.
And here's brother Brian.
Driving to the baseline. Here comes Donnell Williams, one of the better players blocking shots in the paint in the entire state. Alters his shot, puts it high, knocks it down. The brothers Earl.
The 5 and dime backcourt, and believe me, Joe Kessler didn't pick up these guys in a Woolworths. 42-39. Shawnee with the lead, Marist with the ball. There's the steal by Dan Earl.
Again, Marist struggling against the change of defense. Tentative, costly turnover.
Corey Green back to Bensel. Dan Earl gets Giraldo up. Brian Earl, a little strong. There's Green, though, hustling. He's all over the floor. Between the legs of Brian Earl. Dan there to collect. Bodies everywhere. And Dan Earl now will try to sort it out. 2:35 left in this one. Shawnee by 3. And he's fouled by John Giraldo. That's 3 on Giraldo.
Corey Green doing an excellent job hustling, keeping the ball alive time after time for Shawnee. Keeps the ball alive. John Giraldo picks up his 3rd foul there. Danny Earl drives baseline.
And Joe Kessler said that's exactly what he expects of Corey Green. He says he's the spark plug. He dives for loose balls. He had 2 big steals against Atlantic City. One of them led to the winning basket. Brian Bensel, who stepped up offensively today for the Renegades.
Shawnee taking some time off the clock here with a little over 2 minutes left to go. They're not going to go into a complete delay game, but they want to be patient, make Marist work, try and take some time off the clock.
Under 2 minutes. Dan Earl floats, and he's fouled by Giraldo, and now Giraldo has 4.
Danny Earl putting the ball to the floor after they took some time off the clock, creating a situation, leaning in, picks up the foul, and he'll go to line to shoot 2.
Substitution. Warren Anderson in, replacing Pablo Carrasco. And Dan Earl to the line for the first time today. And now it's a 4-point game with 1:51 left.
Marist was in a similar situation on Thursday night. They were able to pull it out, but they needed almost a miracle-type shot. If they don't start scoring on the offensive end, they're going to need another miracle.
Bensel comes up with the miss. The lane opened up. Now Joe Kessler is saying 1 shot.
Now they're going to get to the situation where they're going to look to try and take some more time off the clock and get more into their traditional delay game. They want the ball in Brian and Dan Earl's hands as much as possible. They need to try and keep the ball out of Corey Green's hand.
Dan Earl cut off as Giraldo and Warren Anderson converge, but it will be Shawnee ball with 1:19 left.
Big gamble there on Giraldo's part, too. He has 4 fouls.
Luckman, low blocks.
Marist makes a defensive change, putting Anderson on Danny Earl because of Giraldo's 4 fouls.
Corey Green nearly had it picked off by Jason Anderson, and a timeout. Joe Kessler calls time for Shawnee with 1:03 left. They've got the lead and the ball.
Heads-up play there by Danny Earl. He saw the situation where one of his teammates was in trouble. Looked like it might have been a turnover situation. He's got the presence of mind to call timeout. That's why he's one of the better point guards, one of the better junior point guards in the entire metropolitan area.
So now Mike Leonardo will be facing a decision. Do you continue to play the defense? When do you begin to foul?
I think what they'll try and do initially is either run and jump and double on the ball or get into a little bit of a half-court trap. They've had success throughout the year. The 1-3-1 trap. Big players on the wings. Donnell Williams, very athletic, so's Roscoe Harris. But if they can't create a turnover quickly, then they've got to foul.
All right, we're going to take a timeout for the New Jersey Lottery. Stick around. You won't miss a minute of action. We'll be right back.
The changes forced upon business in difficult economic periods sometimes make the present resemble the past. Only through carefully managing our two most valuable resources, people and property, can businesses large or small confidently step into the future. Renner Business Interiors, a facility services company, dedicated to managing change, controlling expenses, and enhancing productivity in the workplace. Renner Business Interiors.
Hello, I'm Joe DeRose, live from New Jersey Network with the lottery drawings for March 22nd. Tonight's assistant is Keith of the New Jersey Lottery. First, we'll start with Pick 3. This is the game which has thousands of winners every day. You can play it straight, boxed, wheeled, or in pairs. Pick 3 and Pick 4 tickets can be purchased up to 1 week in advance. Now let's draw Pick 3. The first digit is 2. The second digit is 2. The third digit is 0. The winning Pick 3 number is 220. Tonight's drawings are made possible by a grant from the New Jersey Lottery. Now we'll play our second daily game, Pick 4. Once again, Keith will release the balls. A convenient and easy way to play Pick 4, straight or boxed, is to let the green machine randomly select the numbers for you. Just ask your lottery agent for a quick 4. Thank you, Keith. Now let's draw Pick 4. The first digit is 9. The second digit is 8. The third digit is 4. And the fourth digit is 1. The winning Pick 4 number is 9841. Play the lottery's popular instant game, $10,000 jackpot. If you like playing slot machines, you'll love the $10,000 jackpot instant game. Tickets are on sale now at all lottery agent locations. I'm Joe DeRose. Thanks for watching, and once again, here are tonight's winning numbers. Play Pick 3 and Pick 4, the exciting daily games that have thousands of winners every day. The next winner could be you. And tomorrow's Pick 6 Lotto jackpot is estimated to be $2 million.
You're watching NJN, the New Jersey Channel. WNJS, Camden.
Welcome back. 1:03 left in the boys' Tournament of Champions final. Shawnee leading Marist, the number 3 team in the country, 43-39. Pat Scanlon, Rob Kennedy, and Jerry Henry with you at the Meadowlands. Dan Earl inbounds to brother Brian. Shawnee trying to wrap this one up. And Brian Earl is fouled by Warren Anderson.
You'd think maybe you want to put a freshman on the line, but based on his performance in the semifinals when he knocked down 6 of 7 in the fourth quarter, this isn't an ordinary freshman. Tremendous poise. Goes the line here with just under a minute left. Big foul shots.
Brian Earl is 77% free throw shooter. 79, depending upon which day you talk to the coaches. The stats are tough to keep in high school basketball. He makes the front end of the 1-and-1, though, and the biggest stat right now is 44-39. That's up on the scoreboard.
Substitution there. Coach Mike Leonardo wants a three-point shooter in the game. He brings Carrasco in.
Brian misses the second. Here's the rebound. John Giraldo tracks it down. Roscoe Harris open for 3. And Bensel is fouled from behind by Jason Anderson with 46 seconds left.
Big rebound there by Bensel. play in transition. Giraldo was ahead of the pack, but with his team down by 5, he pulled up, tried to spot a three-point shooter. He found one of the best on the team in Roscoe Harris. He had an open 3, unable to knock it down, and Bensel's there for the big rebound.
Bensel goes to the line with 11 points. 2 of 2 from the charity stripe today. Still perfect. And now it's a 45-39 lead for Joe Kessler and the Shawnee Renegades.
He knocks this one down and pushes it out to a 7-point lead. It becomes 3-possession game for Marist.
7-point lead for Shawnee. Roscoe Harris, 3-point shot, no. Rebound, Bensel, who skied for it and is fouled inside by Donnell Williams.
It's only appropriate that the only senior on the floor for Shawnee comes up big here at the end of the game. 2 big defensive rebounds. He'll go back to the foul line and try and ice the game as Shawnee is now out to a 7-point lead. They're starting to pull away from Marist.
Mike Leonardo discussing things with Pablo Carrasco. Tough for Leonardo. Won the parochial B title as Bensel misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Certainly another season. As Carrasco knocks down a 3, they call timeout to get within 4. 25.7 seconds left, and let's not go away just yet after the Roscoe Harris heroics at the semifinal game at Rutgers Thursday night. Does Leonardo have to win this game to cap a successful season, do you think, Mike or Rob?
Well, they've had a great year. Win or lose here. Beating St. Anthony's in the North Jersey Championship. Winning the parochial B state championship. Their great win. No, they don't need to win tonight for it to be a great season, but they would certainly be disappointed. I think that St. Anthony's game took so much out of them. They've pointed and focused to that to such a degree that it's almost kind of been a letdown for his team since that game.
And they've had some dogfights to get through, including the overtime victory against Seton Hall Prep in the Tournament of Champions semifinal.
They need to create a turnover here. Fouling's not going to completely do it. You see Joe Kessler in the huddle telling his guys they have timeouts left. If they can't inbound the ball, go ahead and take one. Let's get it in. Let's not turn it over. Let's go to the foul line, knock them down. Let's get out of here with a win.
John Giraldo, one of the people that can nail the 3 for Marist. And Joe Kessler, look at his record, 79 wins, 8 losses the last 3 years. So Shawnee, Joe Kessler, certainly not coming out of the woods. Very strong program that Kessler's building as Brian Earl is fouled and he'll make the walk down to the free throw line.
Anytime you come into the game with 31 wins, 1 loss, you're a program to be reckoned with, especially coming out of the always tough Group 4, beating an undefeated Atlantic City team, an undefeated Bridgewater team, and avenging their only loss against Burlington Township on Thursday.
Brian Earl can't make the front end of the 1-and-1. It's still a 4-point game, under 20 seconds left. And Dan Earl tipped it out of bounds. Marist will maintain possession, but a good defensive play by Dan Earl. And now 15.7 seconds left. Marist down by 4.
Marist still has life. Still got a chance here with 15 seconds, trailing by 4, but they need to knock down a quick 3.
There's a 3 by Carrasco. No. Corey Green came up with the rebound and is fouled with 10.9 seconds left. Pablo Carrasco had a chance for the 3-point basket. Now Corey Green.
Once you get this late in the game, whoever's got a shot, the quickest shot you can get off, you got to go ahead and take, and you just got to hope things turn out like they did Thursday night when they knocked in an improbable, almost miracle-type shot. But now after that miss, it's going to be that much more difficult with only 11 seconds left to overcome a 4-point deficit.
Junior Corey Green at the line. Shawnee's had a chance to seal this game at the free throw line. They've left the door a crack open. Giraldo, time running down to Roscoe Harris. Can he do it again? Not this time. Shawnee the boys' Tournament of Champions title.
What a game, what an effort by Shawnee. Their entire team comprised mostly of underclassmen. The number 2 seed, so it's not like they stormed out of nowhere. As you see, Joe Kessler hoisted above his team, the 1992 Tournament of Champions winners, and certainly an upset, knocking off the number 3 ranked team in the country, the number 1 ranked team in the state, the Marist Royal Knights.
Tough loss for the Marist club. Mike Leonardo, the pride of Bayonne, and handshakes being exchanged. A great game, and Shawnee wins it 46-42. We'll be back with the trophy presentation right after this.
Times to borrow, times to spend, times to save, and times to give. First Fidelity is a proud underwriter of New Jersey Network.
I've been counting all the stairs ever since I've arrived. 69. Look at this incredible architecture.
Watch Berlin and Russia Thursday night at 10. April 2nd on your calendar, and bring your friends at 9:25.
JCP&L, may I help you?
Yes, I have some questions about my estimated bill.
In today's complex world, we all have questions every day. At Jersey Central Power and Light, we answer questions about your bill, your service, and about ways to conserve our precious energy resources. People talking to people. A response when you call 24 hours a day.
I really appreciate all your help.
No problem, Mr. Jones.
Our people know the power of a friendly voice. A proud supporter of New Jersey Network.
Welcome back to the Meadowlands Arena. Pat Scanlon, Rob Kennedy, Jerry Henry, where Shawnee has defeated Marist 46-42. The fans who made the trek up the Parkway, up the Turnpike, rewarded for their effort today as they salute the Shawnee Renegades. 32-1 as we await the trophy presentation. Dan Earl rising to the occasion. 16 points, 11 in the second half, Rob.
Did a good job. He couldn't get on track with his outside shooting in the first half. Hung in there, hit a couple of huge threes in the third quarter. He's the guy that makes this team go. Very deserving win for he and his team here today.
Mike Leonardo, Marist head coach, will accept the runner-up trophy from Jerry Greco of First Fidelity Bank and Monsignor Kelly of the NJSIAA, Seton Hall Prep. Certainly Mike would have liked to come out with a win today, but certainly a great year for Marist. And now hold on to your ears, because here comes the trophy presentation for Joe Kessler and his Tournament of Champion winners, the Shawnee Renegades.
Number 1, Shawnee.
For the very first time, the Tournament of Champions trophy heads south. St. Anthony had won it. Elizabeth had won it. This year, it winds up in Medford, the Shawnee Renegades.
Seems like half the town of Medford's here, too. It was nice to see, as soon as the game was over, the players and the coaching staff from Shawnee, after celebrating, walked over to the end zone where their fans are and saluted their fans.
Joe Kessler. He's been lifting weights, pumping iron, waiting for this moment.
That's one weight you like to lift.
And now the Most Valuable Player Award. I think they're going to take a lap around the court with that trophy all on the Stanley Cup. Here's the choice for the MVP.
6 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 for 12, shooting, total of 16 points. From Shawnee,
The Most Valuable Player in the 1992 Tournament of Champions, Dan Earl. It's presented by Jerry Greco and Monsignor Kelly. They love it here at the Meadowlands.
The 16 points, though, don't tell the entire story. He does so much. He runs this team. He has a court presence, finds open people. He's just done a great job for them all year. Very deserving MVP choice.
All right, we'll be right back and talk with Joe Kessler and Dan Earl and a few of the Shawnee players. So stick around here on NJN.